Hello everyone, Comrade Kelly here. Welcome to a World Conqueror 4 mod review. For today, we will be doing the Great Patriotic War mod version 1.20, the Axis update. So the Axis update, this is probably one of the biggest content updates that this mod has received since the first version of this mod. And it's also one of the more long-awaited ones. So finally, the Conqueror released this version to the public a few hours ago as the making of this video. So if you do wanna, keep up with this updates, you can follow the Great Conqueror's channel. So I would really recommend it. I'll leave his channel in the description below. Another thing I'll leave in the description below is my Discord server. So if you do wanna join, you can find it there, and also you can also find it in the pinned comments. I always say this in every single video, and I do hope you guys join. Since I'm on Discord for like probably all day, I guess, since this Corona thing, all I've been doing is staying at home. So yeah, the Great Patriotic mod version 1.20. So a lot of things has been added. One of them being a new soundtrack specially designed for this update. So if you do fancy some Axis theme songs, this update will surely do it for you. Another thing added is around 30 missions. So 30 missions have been added or updated for this update, and they're as follows. So let's go through all of them one by one. So let's go to World War II Europe, where most of the things has been added. So as you can see, there's missions like 22, 21, and some 23. So these are newer missions. And if you have this old version, then you updated it, the new mission should be grayed out. In order to unlock them, all you have to do is beat any mission in the game where you haven't beaten it. So it has to be the first time you've beaten the mission. Let's say if you have already played every single mission in this game, you should uninstall the mod and install again so you can unlock the newer missions. So that's if you completed all the missions already. So yeah, let's get right back into the new things added. So let's start off with World War II Axis Europe Winter War. So Winter War, you can find it in Axis Europe 2. So let's look for that over here. As you can see here, this new mission. And yeah, you can play as Finland and try to defend against the Red Army over here. So yeah, they do quite outnumber you a lot. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit difficult, but you might try to recreate history. So there you go. The next one is Operation Westeros. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it's down here in Scandinavia. Let's visit it right now. So this is it. I tried it a while ago and it's actually pretty difficult since they spam a lot of ships. So you have to be careful with that and not to don't allow them to spam ships, because if you get to that point, it's gonna be difficult to beat the mission. Next one being the Battle of Lowland, so Axis Europe 4. I'm not sure if you should go too hard, but let's just stick with that. So there we go. This is Axis Europe. The Battle of Lowland. So we have to invade through the Netherlands, Belgium, and all the way to France. Again, this can be a bit difficult if you're not careful. Let's move on to the next one. Operation Sea Lion. It's in Axis Europe 6. Let's look for it over here. So here we go. Operation Sea Lion. And you may notice this is it's a different map from the vanilla game. So yeah, a lot of effort has been put into this mod. And I wonder how old this mod. It must be pretty old already. Like 2 years or a year old already. Let's look for the next mission, which is Axis Europe 9, the Battle of Tobruk, or it's also known as the Operation of Sonnenblom. So it's in Axis 9. So it's down here in Africa, if I remember correctly. So there we go, this new mission. Or it's been updated at least. Let's move on to the next one, which is Operation Mercury, Axis 10, so down here. So we got the Battle of... you got Crete over here, so we got Heraklion. It's gonna be a bit difficult since... I think if you didn't know, the Germans tried paratrooping to the island of Crete, and yeah, it didn't really go well. When the paratroops landed in the island, even the residents there pick up their weapons, you know, to attack the paratroopers. And the result of that was pretty bad for the citizens of Crete. You know, the Germans had to take revenge on the people on that island, so a bunch of war crimes were committed, and yeah, it's just not a fun time for anyone. Let's move on to the next one, which is Operation Barbarossa. So there's 3 Operation Barbarossa here: North, Center, and South. So that's 11, 12, 13. Let's go to 11 right now. Where would 11 be? So this is Barbarossa, not Central. 11, North. So yeah, this is the northern sector of the Operation Barbarossa. Let's move to the center. I find it pretty cool they divided into 3 parts. Since, you know, Operation Barbarossa was such a big front. So yeah, this is the center. Let's move to the next one. This is the south, so Operation Barbarossa South. There we go. There's a lot of things here. And yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is the Battle of Kiev, Axis Europe 14. So let's go to the Battle of Kiev right now. So you got some encircled German divisions up here. What else? Yeah, that's about it. Pretty interesting. You even got the Romanians down here. Let's move on to the Battle of El Alamin. That would be down here in Africa. So here you can see the British greatly outnumbered us. And yeah, it's gonna be difficult to try beating this. But this is time-based, so you just have to survive for as long as you can. Next thing is the Battle of Stalingrad. It's 16. No, this is Operation Citadel. Where's 16? Oh, over here. The Battle of Stalingrad. And yeah, just expect that you can see here, they've been encircled down here and their morale's super bad. I guess you want to try breaking it up. And yeah, you get to have one mouse over here. I can imagine if you put the general, it's gonna be pretty powerful. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Battle of Cairo, Axis Europe 17. So there we go, this is the Battle of Cairo. Again, you're greatly outnumbered by the British here. They even have an aircraft carrier down here and some Australian divisions up north. So let's move on to the next one, which is the Siege of Leningrad. So this again, one of the not a fun time for anyone, especially for the people living in Leningrad. As you can see here, the morale they have is pretty high actually. And again, this is probably one of those, another pretty difficult mission since they outnumber us and they have excellent morale. Well, at least we have the Finnish up here to help us with this mission. But you know, you can never rely too much on the AI of this game. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Battle of the Suez Canal, which is in Axis Europe 20. I think this is one of the newer maps added to this game. It's pretty nice. I don't think they ever reached to this point. So yeah, this is the Battle of the Suez Canal. Yeah, there we go. There's a canal, tiny canal over here. And they give you this army in the center to try beating this mission. Let's move on to the next one, which is the Battle of Moscow. So again, they're reaching to territories where not marching to Siberia, 22, yeah, where it never happened, or if it did, the Germans weren't successful. So you know, this is the part where it starts becoming pretty alternate history-ish. So here we got the Battle of Moscow. Again, it's pretty difficult. You're greatly outnumbered as usual. And yeah, let's move on to the next one, which is the march into Siberia. So yeah, the Germans never got to this point. But in this update, you can try your game. You can see here, even the Japanese are here to help us. So moving on to the invasion of Japan. Oh, it's pretty interesting. So the Japanese betrayal was at the same time a heavy blow, blah blah blah. You can read more about the lore here, which is pretty interesting. So yeah, in this scenario, after beating the Soviet Union, Germany decided to invade mainland Japan, as you can see here. And you can see they even have their own custom ship, the Bismarck class. So you can see there's an naval battle. Absolutely got wrecked by the Nagato class. So yeah, super alternative history. Let's move on to the Battle of Beachhead, Axis Europe 25. Now, where would that be? 25. Where would this be? Is this in America? Oh yeah, so you can see, from the looks of it, could be Newfoundland. So after our victories in the Far East, it's time to take on our last foe, the United States. But before that, we will need a beachhead to land our troops and start the conquest. It is undoubtedly that Americans, Canadians, and the remnants of the British Navy will defend the shores at any cost. So we have to take them out before we try landing at all. So, here we go. We got Newfoundland over there and the United States. And yeah, as usual, you have a very powerful navy that you have to go through first before you can even start a beachhead landing. Now let's move on to the next mission. We got the invasion of North America. After that, that would be our last Axis Europe mission. We can move on to World War II Allies Europe. So yeah, as you can see, we've landed in New York and Montreal. We still got some troops here that we haven't landed yet. So yeah, we have to try to swing down to help our allies down here. So yeah, this is the end game already. After this, the Axis basically, or Germany, basically has control of all of the world. So yeah, let's move on to the allies in Europe. Not a lot has been added since, you know, this is mainly focused on the Axis, as the title suggests. So let's start off with the liberation of Poland, Allies Europe 7. So liberation of Poland, you play as the Soviet Union, and yeah, you try to liberate Poland. You even have bits of Hungary over here, which is pretty interesting. And yeah, even have the Polish troops now in Lublin. So let's move on to the next one, Battle of Siberia in 9. So I'm not sure what happened due to the war with Germany. The command was forced to withdraw its troops to the Far East, thus allowing the Japs to push us into Siberia. But after the defeat of the fascism of Europe, the command has decided to launch a full-scale invasion of the occupied territory and subsequently into Manchuria and Japan. So again, this is one of the more alternative scenarios in this game. And yeah, you can see a big war or big battle between the Japanese. They have a lot of infantry, some tanks, and yeah, just infantry and tanks against some more, I guess, more balanced-ish Soviet troops. Yeah, we got a lot of artillery. So let's move on to the next one, which is the Storm of Steel, Allies Europe 10. So where would Storm of Steel be? Let me look for it over here. So the American military is about to launch a final attack on the Japanese mainland, but we are still dragged by the enemy here. This is unbearable. To the headquarters, you must destroy the army as soon as possible and attack the Japanese mainland before the Americans come. The time left is running out. So you guys see the invasion of Manchuria. You can see that our nationalist allies are over here, the nationalist Chinese under Lin Biao. So yeah, you can see this is Changchun or something like that. Nanjing, yeah, so these are the Manchurian regions already. We even got bits of Korea down here. So let's move on to the next region, which is World War II Axis in the Pacific, I think. So yeah, we got a bunch of updates for Japan, so pretty neat. I didn't expect to see the Japanese update in this one first already. So the first one is the Battle of Shanghai. You can find it in Pacific 1, so the Battle of Shanghai over here. You can see you can get to play as the Japanese and yeah, try to make a beachhead into nationalist China. Let's move on to the next one, which would be the Battle of Nanjing or Nanking, as the most of the West would pronounce it. So a bit controversial here. Yeah, you guys probably know what happened when the Japanese took over Nanking. Actually, it's not just Nanking. The Japanese committed a bunch of war crimes all around China. It's just that Nanjing was hit one of the hardest. And it wasn't just China that suffered under the Japanese. A bunch of Southeast Asian countries were also affected. So yeah, let's move on to the next scenario, which is the Battle of Suzhou in Pacific 3. So yeah. And yeah, as usual, lots of Chinese troops. We managed to split them now from north and south. So yeah, pretty interesting. Let's move on to the next scenario, which is the Battle of Hong Kong, Pacific 5. So again, the Japanese also committed a bunch of war crimes on the British here. So we got Canadian, British, and nationalist troops over here. You can see this is the province of Guangzhou, so we got Hong Kong over here. Down here we've got Canadians for some reason. And yeah, let's just not question it too much. Let's move on to the next scenario, which is the Battle of Midway, so Axis Pacific then. There was one battle where I can say changed the course of history, like one battle, one of the most important battles. One of them would be Midway for me, because this battle basically destroyed any chance that Japan has, even though they never really have a lot in the first place. So yeah, Japan lost a lot of carriers in this battle, and it's up to you, try to avoid that from happening. You can see the Americans here have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carriers over here, and a bunch of super battleships. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult, is what I'm gonna say. Let's move on to the next one, which is the invasion of Australia. So let's say miraculously, we managed to beat the Americans in the Battle of Midway. And now the Japanese are gonna carry an invasion into Australia. So the time is right. Now it is the best time to attack Australia. The headquarters requires you and your troops to attack from land, occupying all coastal cities. The naval empire will give you full support from the sea. Watch out, our forces are limited, so we must reduce unnecessary cost. So yeah, I managed to land already in Australia, so we got Brisbane over here and into Central Australia. So we got Americans, the British helping out their fellow Aussies down here. So pretty interesting. Again, as usual, we're outnumbered. So yeah, it's up to the human player brain to try outsmarting the easy tech AI, and they aren't really known to be the smartest bunch. So Battle of India, Axis Pacific 12. So after the constant Allied failures, the Indians led by Gandhi rised up against the British Empire. Now the remnants of the British force and the loyal Indian armies retreated in the east Bengal region to try to rise a counterattack against Gandhi's force. So the commanders decided to attack these forces and finally drive the last Allied forces out of Asia. So again, with another alternative scenario. So yeah, This is the Indian region. We got Impal, I guess, and Chittagong. So I'm not sure how you pronounce Indian cities, but yeah, this is a mission. Let's move on to the next one. Here, I think that's it for the battle update. So I just went through a long list, and this video is pretty long already. But there's still a lot of things I wanna mention, since like stuff like events. There's events in this mod. That's such an important thing I haven't mentioned. So yeah, please do keep watching this video. Change mysterious force as flag and change your troops layout. Let's go to the conquest right now. The mysterious force or something. So yeah, as you can see, he updated the flag and the unit design. And that's, I feel like the troops in this game again has gotten way more powerful than they should be. So yeah, the mysterious force has a new flag now. What else? So let's move on to another conquest. So if you go to 1939, if you take the city of Metz, Paris, and Brest, France should immediately capitulate. So same thing with the Soviet Union in 1941, which again, this kind of stuff I really enjoy, because sometimes it's such a pain to, you know, invade the rest of the Soviet Union, even though you basically won the game already. So as for Moscow for 1941, if you take the city of Leningrad, as you can see here, Moscow, Saratov, and Stalingrad. Actually, a bunch of more cities. Sverdlovsk, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And the city of basically all the rest. So you got Yekaterinburg. Once you capture all this, the Soviet Union should capitulate too. So same thing for Japan in 1945 in Ensig, I think. So if you capture the city of Tokyo, Nagasaki, and let me see, Shenyang and Changchun, Japan should also capitulate, which is pretty nice. Let's move on to the next one. What else has, you know, events in this one? USSR and the Western Allies will be allied until the fall of Berlin in 1945. Pretty interesting. Good luck playing as Germany now. Added various events through the Pacific Theater in the World War II conquest. So there's a bunch of events for you guys to explore. Added Vichy France in 1941, 42, and 43. So let's go on to France right now. So yeah, you can see Vichy France over here in all these years, except for 1942 Blizzard. But 1943 you can see Vichy France again. And added Croatia in 1941, 42, all the way to 45. So let's go to, you can see here we got Croatia over here. So starting from 41, I think, 42, 43, 44, and 45. So there we go. And what else? Added 2 naval generals for Germany, Baum and Lutyens. Fix bug where missions would crash when you click on them. Fix the country name bug for New Zealand in 1944. Fix the bug regarding some campaigns not being what they should be. So that's it for this update. Again, this is a super big one, and this video has dragged on long enough. So I'll make this simple. So I hope you do enjoy this mod, and yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!